bipartisan fund for kids, African-American kids, that they would have another option if they wanted to go to college than to go into the military. And she headed to Crawford. And then there was Becky Lowry, who ran for governor of the state of Minnesota, but she was a state senator who introduced a resolution before the invasion against war. And I was giving the commencement address at Northland College in Ashland, Wisconsin, and driving through Minneapolis 2 Memorial Days ago. And I picked up the Pioneer Press, and there was a piece called Death in the Family. And it was about this amazing state legislator who had taken a stand, but it wasn't about that. It was about the fact that she lost her son, Matt Lowry, in Iraq that day. And she headed to Crawford the next year. And I saw her there. We write about all of these remarkable women in Cindy's Crawford. And she said, all of these young people dying, who will be our leaders? Well, I think that these grieving mothers are the future leaders of this country. Back to Melita and Carlos, who were inspired by Cindy, found their voice by seeing what she did. And they decided, Carlos decided he would take a coffin across the country wherever he could. He would drag this coffin to remind people what they are not seeing. And he came to Provincetown. He was in Crawford just before. He was in Provincetown 2 weeks ago, and he was in the Capitol before that, speaking with Congress members, dragging this coffin across the Capitol.
Oh,
sometimes he gets a miniature one, sometimes he gets a full-size one, depending where he is. He has found his voice. He hasn't stopped talking. And in all of the notebooks he had, it's all this first-hand documents. There was a letter that his son Brian, his younger son, who was 17 when Alex died, now 19, got from the National Guard, recruiting him, aggressively recruiting him. And I couldn't take it because it was the actual letter, but I wrote it down, and it says, "Dear American." Now that's interesting because Carlos, well, he's from Costa Rica. He's applied for citizenship for many years now. He's wanted to become an American citizen, but he hasn't been granted it. I mean, an American citizen yet. And his younger son is getting this letter. "Dear American, it says how important it is to serve your country in situations like Katrina." That was very interesting, to raise Katrina as the first thing and why you should join the National Guard, because that would be a good thing in times of natural catastrophe. The problem was when Katrina hit, here was President Bush on one of the longest vacations in presidential history, and yet he left Crawford right away, but not to go to New Orleans. He went to California, and he had his picture taken with Gary Wills, the country music star, whose signature song is "Wish You Were Here."